for posterity.
This meeting is being recorded.
And we're now at 19.
Okay. So I guess we need to mute, everybody needs to mute, except for those that speaking.
Okay.
You have the capability to do that.
Yes. But right now you can just chat.
Oh, okay,
Before
we
we
can
start.
chat. Tell us when we can stop chatting, so, okay.
You
All
can,
right, we'll
you can
chat.
say what you want to say, and it will be again saved for
Oh
posterity.
my goodness,
Because
oh my
everybody's going to
God,
hear
what
what
that?
Lena has to say this morning.
Lena has nothing to say, okay? That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. So I guess it's going to be a little warmer today. You know how it is. When no one, when you don't have anything to say, you always talk about the weather or something
you
about
go.
sports or something, you know.
That's right. And nobody does anything about the weather. I think it's so wrong.
That's for sure.
So
So are you going to make those announcements? You know, we're going to have to make sure we get those announcements out at the end also about all this stuff that's going on. later
yes,
Today.
yeah.
Say this, you know, all of that. Okay.
Don't let me forget. We have a lot of good things going on.
Right.
Just even today, we have more events going
Yeah.
on.
Busy today.
Well, Lena, if you want to go ahead and get started, it's 8:07.
Okay.
And, you know, we've got a lot to cover and we have our guests here. So,
Yeah, let's get going. Okay.
and then I can start eating.
Oh, yeah, but man, you're eating the bacon. I love the bacon.
I
Okay,
have
here
the
we go.
bacon and I have a waffle here with syrup on it right in front of my nose. And it's
Oh,
just
my
great.
stars. Oh, anyway, okay. Well, we have to get back in person. I just for me to get over there and get that bacon, if nothing else. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lena
morning.
Whitaker, Vice Chair of Special Events for the Carson Chamber of Commerce. And we welcome you. And we're very pleased and happy and grateful that you joined us this morning. So we have a program that's very exciting. So what we'll do, we'll just get right into it. To begin with, I want to mention our sponsors. Our sponsors for this program, for this particular quarterly breakfast, is the DoubleTree by Hilton Carson and Phillips 66. And this is a time in what I normally, if you were one of the sponsors, you would get a chance to do a 1-minute spiel. Now, it just so happened that Phillips 66, our member, Ken Dami, he's going to wait and do his spiel for the 5-minute speaker spotlight. So we won't hear from Ken during this particular section of the quarterly breakfast. But I would like to ask if Ed Apodaca would say a few words regarding the DoubleTree by Hilton Carson. Are you there, Ed? Can you say a few words to us, please? I guess.
I see him, but so I'll say a few words on his behalf. So I am at
Please
the
do.
DoubleTree by Carson this morning, having breakfast. So, and there's breakfast. So I haven't touched it yet. I've been good. It's been a challenge to not touch that. But this is a wonderful facility. They have great catering operations here. And this is a wonderful place for us to have our meetings. And so we thank you, DoubleTree by Carson, for hosting us this morning.
Yes. And by the way, I went over last week and got those, got some of those wings. I had them wrap them up and I brought them home. Oh my stars, they were so wonderful. They were juicy and tender. And guess what? I you know, I'm a big eater, but I think I got the 16 if I'm not mistaken. But I ate on those wings for, I guess, almost a week. It was just amazing. I loved them. So, okay, let me just get back on point here, okay? Now, at this point, we would like to call up Ken Dami from Phillips 66. He's our 5-minute speaker. And those of you, let me just explain a little bit right quickly. Those of you who do not know, that have not attended our breakfasts before, we always at the end, we choose, well, back in the old days, I call the old days before COVID. Back in the old days when we were in person, we would pick a business card out of the basket. So now we do it a little different. I just pick a number, and then whoever number is associated with that when they register, that's the person that will be the next 5-minute speaker. And that's what we do. You get a chance at the next quarterly breakfast to actually do the 5-minute speaker. Okay. So here we go. So Ken Dami from Phillips 66 is our 5-minute speaker. So Ken, would you please do your presentation for us that we're looking
I sure
for?
will. Thank you, Lena. I'm going to share a screen here and let me know if it shows up for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. My name, as Lena said, is Ken Dami, Public Affairs Manager for Phillips 66. And I've been in the oil and gas industry and refining for over 16 years. And I joined Phillips in 2019. And I can give you a little bit of the lay of the land for Phillips. And then I'm going to talk about a couple milestones that we had last year in the refinery, and then how those milestones relate to some things that are coming up over the next 10 to 20 years just in our industry. So the refinery has part of it located in the city of Carson and the other part in the city of Wilmington, and it's connected by about a 5-mile pipeline. So the units in Carson process the oil initially, then it gets over and sent to Wilmington, and they turn it into different products. So and primarily the products that we make are gasoline, jet fuel, and diesel. But we do have other products that get made, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. We have over 800 people here, and we have somewhere between 150 and 250 contractors on site also working for us. So I wanted to touch on a couple things last year that happened in the refinery. One was a major turnaround we had that we spent around $100 million on. And so that turnaround worked on a lot of equipment here in the refinery to bring it back up to permittable standards to ensure it's safe and reliable operation. And during that time, we had over 2,500 contractors and skilled craftspeople working in the refinery, and most of those jobs were all in California. That were local jobs, with the building trades and other organizations. So that was a big thing that we did last year. That investment of $100 million. The other one that was just as large and significant is that with the AQMD, we had a rule passed last year, and that rule mandated us to reduce NOx emissions. So over the next 12 years, we're going to be investing over $300 million into the refinery to reduce our NOx emissions. And our NOx emissions, when we finally have all the equipment in to reduce them, is going to be lowered by over 80%. So that's a lot. We're going to be reducing NOx emissions by 80% and investing over $300 million to do it. So with that in mind, let me go here to the next slide. There's a lot going on in the world, and to move from oil and gas, it's going to take technology, innovation, and time. And so, all these things are going to happen, but they're going to happen over time. And you can kind of see, the reality of the world economy is like, you hear things that are very, very passionate and specific and direction oriented, from Biden as an example about climate change and how it's going to be addressed. And then you hear, the opposite of that, where we need more oil to be released into the market to bring down gas prices. We need to release the petroleum reserves to help. So when it gets to the point where it's hurting people in the pocketbook, you hear a different type of narrative. And that's just because the reality is that it's going to take time and innovation to replace what we produce, and it's just not oil, gas, and jet fuel. So I'll touch on some other things that we do. So here, this is kind of saying the same thing, consumption. So getting back to what I first talked about with Phillips, making investments, 100 million for the turnaround, over 300 million to comply with a rule to reduce emissions. Why are we putting so much money into one refinery in California? And it's because everything that we're looking at shows us that, the consumption for our product is going to continue. It's going to require other types of energy, which we are also working on in our R&D lab over in Bartersville, Oklahoma. But the consumption of oil and gas, if you look at this chart and you look at the blue bars, it's still, pretty significant. So, our investments are made because we see this happening for quite a while still. This graph here, this shows how a transition took place between coal and oil, and it happened over a long period of time. And during that time, there was innovation that occurred to make that happen. So, this is kind of the sentiment that we have too regarding what's happening with different cleaner energy sources. The black line represents coal, and the white line represents oil and gas. So you can see back in 1900s, coal was king, right? And then you look in 2000, and it's not leading the energy driven sources that we have. That's not true in other countries, but it is true here. And so products, these are products that we make from refining oil. And so, the main products are the gasoline, diesel, kerosene, asphalt, but the other products don't get talked about a lot. And, if you look at all the things on typical use, cars, large trucks, airplanes, plastics in cars, I think a Tesla has over 20% plastics from oil and gas in their cars. Clothing, Patagonia, Columbia, their clothing for outdoors contains significant amount of polyester from that comes from oil, and all these other things on the list. I mean, going to this slide breaks it out just a little bit more in terms of, if you look at the first picture with the tire, butylenes, you can see the bold words that stick out, that those are compounds that come out of refining oil. And these are just some of the things that are made from those compounds that come out of refining oil. I mean, you even get medical equipment. A lot of medical equipment is made from oil, including defibrillators to heart valves and so on. So, and I bring this up because when we talk about the transition, it's going to take time to go from oil that produces all of these things to replacing something that will still produce all these things that we need for quality of life issues. So anyway, the investments we're making are because we see the type of market demands that are going to still
Ken, can you unmute yourself? I muted everyone because we were having a problem. If you could unmute yourself again. Oh, there we go.
Okay. I don't know where I left off. I don't know what you heard last then.
It was just a few seconds.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I was just wrapping up that the reason that we are making all these investments again is because we see demand still continuing for our product. And we also see that the other products that are made from refining oil don't have something that can substitute oil to make those products, i.e. plastics, rubber, and other types of petroleum-based products. So, that's why we're making our investments, because we still see that we're going to be needed to provide an affordable and reliable fuel for the market that we serve here in Southern California. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Barry.
Thank you, Ken. So let's see if you can unshare your screen and we will, there we go. And Lena, you're going to need to unmute yourself to
No,
introduce.
I
our
just
speaker.
unmuted
There we go.
myself. Okay. Wow, Ken, that was your presentation was an eye opener, Ken. We are going to have you come and give us a little bit more detail about all of that. I had no idea, none whatsoever. Okay. So this is wonderful. And, it puts everything in a different perspective, because sometimes, we're not always kind to the oil companies. But now, we have to understand and realize how important it is, the product that you guys make and what you, the offshoots, for lack of a better word, of what comes from there, and how much it helps the community, the world, the people, everybody. So we're going to have you come and do a more detailed presentation to us. I'm blown away. Okay. So, okay.
Did you realize did you realize they were making Coke? I thought they just made Pepsi, but sorry. There's a petroleum joke. Yes.
Maybe we should mute Barry. Okay, let's
know
mute Barry.
You can't, I'm the host. So yes, we know
Well,
it's about the same thing.
I did see, he said, there was one thing on one of his slides, he mentioned cosmetics. I said, ooh, I wonder what that's all about. Well, let's just keep Lena beautiful, okay? Anyway, thanks again, Ken. We really appreciate that. So now let's get to our keynote speaker. Our speaker is Rupam Soni. She's the Community Relations Manager of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. Let me just tell you a little bit about this young lady, okay? Rupam Soni is a Community Relations Manager with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. She is responsible for serving as a community liaison and engaging the public for many metropolitan facilities, initiatives, and infrastructure projects. Oh, Michael loves that word, infrastructure. Much of her work involves outreach for the Regional Recycled Water Program, Metropolitan's first in-region water supply. She is dedicated to making a difference in California's water future through her work. Rupam is an active member of the Water Reuse Association and leads their communication collaborative group. Rupam is also a member of the Board of Advisors for Grades of Green, an environmental nonprofit organization. Rupam has over 20 years of work experience in the water and wastewater industries. She is a registered civil engineer and has a BS from UCLA and an MS from UC Berkeley in civil engineering. Welcome, Rupam Soni.
Thank you so much, Lena, and thanks to all of you for joining us this morning. I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen. There we go. All right, we're not in the right mode here. There we go. Great. So I have a few slides here. I'm going to kind of introduce Metropolitan and who we are, our project partners as well, too, for this regional recycled water program. That's the LA County Sanitation Districts. And today, Brian Langpap from the Sanitation Districts is here. And you may be familiar with them because they have their largest wastewater treatment plant in Carson. And actually, I was telling Lena this earlier when I joined this morning before the meeting officially started. But this program, and you're going to hear all about it, it's a big program. This is a major water reuse effort that everyone across the world is looking at because the size and the scale of this program. And we have a name for it, the Regional Recycle Water Program, but because it starts in Carson, everyone calls it the Carson Project. So Carson is famous in the world of water and the world of water reuse. I want to start with just some background about Metropolitan and the Sanitation Districts, who we are. So I don't know if you have heard of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California before. If you have not, that's okay. We never send you a water bill. We are a water wholesaler. And what we do is we provide water to Southern California through our 26 member agencies. And you can see them here on this map. In Carson, our member agency is the West Basin Municipal Water District. And then West Basin provides water to retailers. And so you would probably be getting a bill from Cal Water or from Golden State Water in Carson. And so that's how your water infrastructure and supply works. Our service area here is really large. You can see extends all the way from the Mexico border to just south of Ventura, out east to Riverside and beyond. We cover 19 million people, 5,200 square miles, and $1 trillion economy. Our project partners, the LA County Sanitation Districts, also have a very large service area that you can see here on this map. They cover just over 5 million people, almost 6 million people. And they operate 11 wastewater treatment plants. And like I mentioned before, their largest wastewater treatment plant is the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant in Carson, located on off of Figueroa Street. We'll talk more about it in a few minutes. Our water supplies in Southern California, and I think the last time you had one of these breakfasts, you actually had water speakers come in. So you all know this. This is probably just a review for you, but our water supplies in Southern California are very complex. We import water. We import just over half of our water. We bring in water from the Colorado River. We bring in water from Northern California via the California Aqueduct. And you may see the California Aqueduct if you drive up the 5 freeway to San Francisco or to Sacramento. It runs right next to the freeway for a good portion of that drive. And then we also have some local supplies. So let's talk a little bit more about our local supplies. We have groundwater basins in Southern California, and you've got them here in the Carson area as well too. You've got a nice groundwater basin, it's called the West Coast Basin. There's also recycled water. Carson, you have lots of recycled water that's provided by West Basin Municipal Water District. And then we've made a lot of investments in conservation, and those investments have been really remarkable, actually. We should all be applauding ourselves. So since the late 1980s, each one of us has reduced our water usage at home by 40%. It's pretty remarkable. So our region has grown in population by millions and millions of people, but our water usage has stayed steady since the 1980s. And we have a number, and it's continuing to drop. And if you're interested in knowing what else you can do to reduce your water usage, I encourage you to visit our website, bewaterwise.com. We offer a number of rebates in partnership with West Basin Municipal Water District. One of the ones here with this picture, I just want to point out, is where you can tear out your turf and you can put in drought-tolerant plants. We pay for that. Putting in high-efficiency toilets. We pay for things like rain barrels. So all kinds of different rebates that are available for both your home and your business. So definitely take a look at that. These past couple years in the water industry, or these past few years, but I really want to focus on these past couple years, have been especially challenging for us. These last 2 years have been the driest years we have had on record in California. Our water supplies, both from the state, from Northern California, and from the Colorado River, been extremely stressed. So this, for the first time ever, the state has told us, California has told us that we're getting what's called a 0% allocation from the state water project system. What that means is that they will only provide essential water to us for health and safety purposes. The Colorado River has been in a long-term drought. And Lake Mead, the major reservoir on the river, hit its lowest point it's ever been since we started filling the river. So we have been trying to, everything that we've been doing, all the conservation we've been doing, all of that has been helping tremendously, but we need to do more. And so One of the ways we're planning on doing that is through this regional recycled water program, as I mentioned before, unofficially the Carson project. And this is the way it works. So we all use water. We use water in our homes. We use water in industries, businesses. In LA County, in the Carson area, all of that water flows to the Sanitation District's Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. You can see the picture. Again, we'll take a closer look at it in a few minutes, but you can see the picture here. That water is cleaned, and currently that water all flows out to the Pacific Ocean off the coast of the Palos Verdes Peninsula. What this program will do is it will take that water, and instead of sending it to the ocean, we will purify it further at an advanced water treatment plant. And then that purified water, we would use that to replenish groundwater basins in the area that we rely on for drinking. We could provide that water to industries such as our neighboring refineries that use a lot of water in their processes. And the state is coming out with regulations that would also allow us to put that water straight into our drinking water system. And the way we would do that is we would send that water to our water treatment plants, where it would mix in with our imported supplies from the Colorado River and from Northern California. It would go through our water treatment process, and then it would go out through our delivery system to our member agencies. And it would provide a new supply of water for our region. This is a huge program. So in terms of numbers, it would provide 150 million gallons of water daily. That's 168,000 acre feet of water. And if you're wondering what an acre foot of water is, that's how we measure water in the water industry. It's exactly what it sounds like. So an acre in area, about a foot high. An acre is about the size of a football field, especially with playoffs and all that going. Super Bowl coming soon. I always like to use the football analogy. And it's about 326,000 gallons of water. That's enough water for 3 families per year. And so this program would provide enough water for about 1.5 million people. And it would be one of the largest programs of its kind in the world. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Orange County has a water recycling program that's been online for a number of years. And currently that program has the title of being the largest of its kind. It provides 130 million gallons of water a day. So this is just a little bit more than that. And it has tremendous benefits. Of course, there's the water supply benefits, providing that new supply, ensuring water reliability. As we, Southern California, we face drought, there's climate change. And so we just want to make sure that our water supplies are resilient. So you can count on turning on that tap 24/7 and know that you're going to get high quality water coming out for you to use. And so this program would help ensure that for us now and for the future. There's also tremendous environmental benefits. We're reusing a supply of water that currently is flowing out to the ocean. But there's also major economic benefits. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about those here. So we did a study with the LA Economic Development Corporation. And what they found was that this program would create $8.7 billion in economic output and nearly 50,000 jobs. So 47,000 jobs through construction. And these are all local jobs, Southern California jobs, and 90% of these jobs are LA County jobs. And it would also generate a lot in state and local taxes as well. And then once we start operating the facilities for this program, we would continue to sustain jobs. So we would be sustaining about just over 1,000 jobs and also generating over $300 million in economic output. And this is about 2 to 3 times what this program costs. And we'll talk about program costs in just a couple slides here too. So if we take a closer look at the facilities involved with this program, you can see here, it all starts down in Carson at the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. We would construct our advanced water treatment facility at the same site or nearby. And then we would be sending that water to 4 groundwater basins in Southern California. So the West Coast Basin right here, the Central Basin, the one here shown in green that covers most of the central Los Angeles area, the main San Gabriel Basin up in the San Gabriel Valley, which is almost 40 miles away here from Carson. So that's why we call it the Regional Recycle Water Program, because it really is regional in nature. And then also the Orange County Basin too. We're trying to use as much existing infrastructure as possible to convey this water to these different locations. However, this does require the construction of a new pipeline. So some of these pipelines here on the eastern part are all existing that we would use. However, this portion right here, we call this our backbone system. This would be new construction that we would need to implement. And so we are looking at a number of different pipeline alignments for this new
How
pipeline.
large is that pipeline? I remember you telling me about this.
It's 7 feet in diameter. So it's a very large pipeline. And then what we're looking at, again, this is 40 miles, almost 40 miles of pipeline. We're looking at a number of different alignments. I'm showing 2 of them here. We understand that when you start doing construction, you have major impacts to residents and businesses and communities. So we're trying to do everything we can as we look at these alignments to limit that impact. And one of the things we're doing is looking at getting off city streets. So using alignments that run along the San Gabriel River or the LA River. And those are the 2 alignments that you see here. But there is a portion that would go through city streets, and we would be, here in your communities in Carson. And so we are working with the city of Carson to coordinate our design and our plans with plans that they have for the city as well.
And aren't you also looking at using utility rights of way?
Yes, thank you for bringing that. I need to take Barry along with me to every presentation I give. Thank you. So yes, Edison has a right of way along the San Gabriel River. And so we are looking at working with them as well too, to see if we can use their right of way. And then that takes us off the river. It takes us, basically off the river alignment into their right of way. And again, reduces that impact to businesses and homes and residents and commuters. So this is the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. I don't know if you all are familiar with it, and you've probably driven by it, but it is, you can just see here, just east of the 110 freeway. This here is Figueroa. That just runs through the plant. The north side of the plant is Sepulveda. The south side of the plant here is Lomita. And the location we're looking at for a full-scale facility, one of the locations is here shown by the yellow dashed line, and that is off of Main Street. And if you see the orange line, that is a demonstration facility that we're already currently operating to test our purification process for this program. The Joint Water Pollution Control Plant is a very big site, 400 acres of property, 200 acres used for plant operations. And it's a large plant, has a flow of 260 million gallons daily. And it's the largest, this is a fun fact, largest untapped source of treated wastewater off the West Coast. So if you were to look at all the wastewater treatment plants, all the way from Washington down to San Diego that are sending water to the ocean once that water has been cleaned, this one's the largest. And so for us at Metropolitan, we wanted a large supply that could truly benefit the region. So working with the Sanitation Districts was a perfect partnership for us.
It struck me that this is a lot like the rain barrel program, where we want to catch that rainwater that otherwise would just flow out into the ocean and be lost to us. And by the same token, the plant right now is putting almost all their water is just flowing out to the ocean. I know they're building the new outfall, but still, this project is like a rain barrel, allowing us to capture that water and get more use out of it, rather than just have it, gone.
Yeah, exactly. And the sanitation districts are also a great project partner because they've been doing this for years and years and years. All of their other 10 plants are water recycling facilities. So this is their only facility where all the water goes to the ocean. And so, yeah, it's a great opportunity, you're right, Barry, to capture it and reuse it. And so the way we would purify this water is using this 3-step purification process shown here. And here on the right is a rendering of what a full-scale facility would look like. But the 3 processes that we're showing here, they're membrane bioreactors, reverse osmosis, and that's probably the most common one that you may have seen. They sell reverse osmosis units that you can put into your homes if you want to. And then there's the 3rd step is ultraviolet light and advanced oxidation. Essentially, the water that's produced through this, after it comes through this purification process, is super high quality water that's distilled in quality. It's near distilled in quality. We, in fact, would have to add minerals back into the water before we put it into any kind of pipeline or any kind of system. Otherwise, that water is so pure that the pipe materials would actually dissolve into the water. And the program costs. So I mentioned the economic benefits earlier, but the costs here we estimated them back in 2018. Right now, we are working on more revised estimates, $3.4 billion in capital costs, $129 million in operations and maintenance costs. And that translates to just over $1,800 per acre foot of water. So again, how we sell water. That is kind of what the average cost is for a local water supply like this. It is a little bit more than our imported supplies. Those supplies run about $1,100 per acre foot. So we are trying to find ways to reduce this cost. We have partnerships with the sanitation districts, with some agencies along the Colorado River that are helping fund this program. And that will help reduce the cost. We're also going after grant funds. So we're working with the state. There's funds available for drought measures like this. The federal government passed the Infrastructure Investment Act that has funding available for programs like this. So we hope that we can make these costs even more affordable. So in terms of next steps, I'm sorry, was there a question or comment? No, I just heard something. Okay. In terms of next steps, right now we are in the environmental planning phase for the program. So we're working to produce environmental documents such as an environmental impact report. We expect to come out with an announcement that we're preparing these reports later this year. And then we hope to have certified environmental documents by 2024. At that time, we would go to our boards to seek approval for design and construction, and then start up in operations in 2032. So we've been working on this program since, about 2009. So several years, and we've got another decade to go to see it to implementation. We are trying to find ways to speed up the schedule. One of the things we're looking at doing is seeing if we can find, right now we're required to do design, bid, build, and we're looking to see if we can create legislation that allows us to do design build or progressive design build or some alternate procurement methods that would allow us to get to this state even a couple years sooner. And then part of our work also now is an extensive community outreach program, and which is why I'm here today. And I know that you all are very active in your communities. So if you see that there's a place where we can come talk about this program, about water supply, the drought, how you can conserve, please let us know. We're happy to come to your groups, to your meetings, to your organizations, wherever we can, to share this program and the program information, especially since Carson is so central to this program. And we'd love for you to stay involved as well too. We have an e-newsletter. I'd love to sign you up for that. We have virtual tours we offer of our demonstration facility, and hopefully soon in-person tours. So we'll share that information with you through Barry and Lena. But at this time, I think I'm done here. I'd love to take questions from you all if you have any questions or comments. And then if you think of anything later, our contact information is here as well too, and you're welcome to call us or email us anytime. And then again, these are our websites here. This is our Regional Recycled Water Program website for more information about the program, and the Be Water Wireless website, which gives more information about our conservation programs. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so I can see all of you, but are there
Yeah.
any questions?
Excuse me, I have a question. I'm Mike Stewart. I'm Chair of the Economic Development Committee for the Carson Chamber. Two issues. How can we help you to go to the federal government with their infrastructure bill that I see is about $55 billion for water treatment, water resources. How could the chamber and our Carson community help you with going after added funds, especially for design build? And the second question, and I'll mute myself after that, is what are your plans and perspectives for the Feather River and Sacramento River project? I have a daughter-in-law and my grandson who lives in Sacramento. When I go up there, first place I go to is look at all those water flowing through the Sacramento River. We should also look at that as an alternate source. And you can ask those questions. I'll go offline now.
Thank you,
Rupam, do you want
Michael.
me to jump? Do you want me to jump in? Thank you for that
Sure.
question. We are starting an outreach effort to work both with the federal government and the state as those monies become available. So we will be reaching out probably with a coalition letter to the community. We will share what the water world is looking at. We're looking at not only CEQA approved projects, but projects that are coming down the pipeline like ours. So we will get back to the community about that effort. As you address the Bay Delta area, Sacramento, we are participating with the state water projects and the Department of Water Resources on solving issues in the Delta through the Delta Conservancy planning effort up there. It's an environmental phase, but we can definitely come back to the community and let you know what's happening with that as it moves forward. So hopefully Barry will be able to allow us to come back and talk. I hate to drive the agenda on water, although the drought is on everyone's mind, but I know you'll get tired of us, but we will definitely get back to you on both of those issues.
I think you all are happy, more than happy to hear about water because it kind of matters. So Charles, you're always welcome here. And by the way, we also have on the call this morning, we have Ralph Felix from Cal Water, Tammy Myers from Cal Water, Kate Netting from Golden State Water. I don't think I've missed any of our water group here, but anyway, and it's really important for us to showcase how these agencies work together, which I'm going to be blunt and say has not always been the case in the past, in my years in local government, but certainly in recent years, that has absolutely been the truth. And so we see how these different pieces of the puzzle come together to give us long-term stability in terms of water. Like with this project, it doesn't matter if it rains or not. It doesn't matter if we get water from the Colorado River or not in terms of how it impacts the availability of this water. This is a huge, huge investment, but it's for a huge, huge payoff. So anyway, so Charles, we appreciate your participation on that, appreciate your input. So I had a couple of things that I wanted to ask from the business standpoint and the community standpoint. First off, how can local companies get involved as suppliers or contractors or other participants in the project?
We have a small business program. So first, I think there's opportunities for all of you to get involved with metropolitan projects now as we develop this program further. So we have a business outreach section, we have a small business program, but they can come, I think, Lena, was I talking to you about it, or Barry, maybe it was you, about having that presentation in the future to your group here, so they can learn, like, you know, how do you put yourself, get on our vendor list? How do you find out about our RFPs, our, you know, requests for bids, requests for qualifications? And so we can absolutely provide that to you, so you can get started now and getting familiar with our organization. And then that will also put you in line for this program when those opportunities do come up.
I mean, our chamber consists of very large businesses, like Phillips 66, and it consists of small businesses like Premier Printing that our chairman owns, and my own consulting company where you are looking at the entire staff. So anyway, we would appreciate the opportunity to keep our members abreast on that when the right time comes.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch on that, Barry, and get a presentation set up for you all in the near future.
My second question is, I know that MWD and the districts will be concerned about how to reduce impact on the community from the actual construction. And so what's your process going to be for people being involved in that part of it, and understanding what the impacts are going to be and being able to comment through the CEQA process?
Yeah, so at this time, we're still determining exactly what an alignment could look like, we're still defining our potential alignments. When we do have our notice of preparation, our draft EIR, we can circle back with all of you to let you know that those documents are up, so you can give your feedback at that time. And then once we do have a decided alignment that this is what we're going with, this is what project construction looks like, then we do, and that's our job, my team's job, is we go out there and we make sure that community members know that this work is coming. We make sure we're providing alternate street routes, that they're notified up ahead of time that this is happening so they can plan accordingly. We understand it's an inconvenience. And so we just want to streamline the process as much as possible and provide all the relevant information so everyone can plan, and we can be as convenient as possible. I don't want to say the wrong word there.
Thank you. Do we have other questions? Okay, and Brian, did you want to add anything?
Barry, I had a comment.
Oh,
to make.
go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, my name is Richard Chang, board chair of the Carson Chamber. I know that during construction, there's going to be a lot of disruptions in neighborhoods that you're going to go by, and also, the alignment as shown on your drawing goes through several towns. So, coordinating, getting permits, and will be a problem to be attended to. And you talked about the diameter of the pipe being 7-foot diameter. That's a pretty large pipe. And, I don't know what the construction protocols will be with moving forward with the construction, because I guess it's a little too early at this state in time. But there's going to be a lot of community outreach that I would expect that MWD would have to go through, just keeping the public and the citizens informed. But
Yes,
it's a very good project. You capture in the water that's now being sent out to the ocean, and you making it so in the future we'll have more water to be able to use.
yeah, thank you, Richard. Thank you for your comments. And yes, absolutely, we need to work in close coordination with all those cities that I showed you on that map, and make sure that community members are aware. And so I think you'll continue to see us at these meetings as this project progresses, because I feel like, making sure we get the word out to you early on about where this alignment is going to be and what construction is going to look like. So you can, as leaders in your community, you can share that information. And we're always looking for your suggestions of who else to reach out to at this point early in the program as we're planning for it. But we'll come back and also, later as the program continues to progress. Thank you for your comments.
Barry, I have another question. With the design build, which is an approach that you could use, very important to have community buy-in and support. That way you can cut time and be more efficient in your design, your planning, your procurement issues, constructions and operations. Maybe you can see if you can do a community coalition or a community support group, especially in the city of Carson, of people that local buy-in and local people that can help you, plus our businesses who use tremendous amounts of water, and also our neighborhoods. So that's an operation will help on your design build approach and also help you specifically in getting through these cities and community groups with maximum support. That's my comment, and maybe you can take a look at that and explain how you're going to do that. If you can't do it now, we'll welcome you back.
Yeah, thank you. I'm writing that down. That's a great suggestion. And we absolutely will look into this. Our project team will talk about it and see, when the right time is to pursue something like that, and the right contacts, the right people involved. And maybe, Michael, I'll even reach out to you separately to learn some more, if that's okay.
Okay.
Brian, okay, I just want to say, Brian, did you want to add anything from the sanitation district's perspective?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for giving us time. I think Rupam covered it well. I guess the one thing I would say is that today's presentation is meant to be kind of opening the discussion. There's going to be outreach for years as we go through the planning and we get to the design, and I would imagine even through the construction. So this is not the end of the discussion. This is just kind of the start of the discussion. I think you folks are pretty savvy with CEQA, but during the EIR process, one of the major steps is that the two agencies here will put together a draft EIR that goes out for public review, and then the public gets a chance to comment on that, and all their comments get addressed. So again, we're kind of at the beginning here.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I agree with that last comment. Seems like we are in the beginning process of it. And as we go through the process, I think costs may also escalate, so it's good that the process is beginning now, and, the chamber will be open to supporting you in your endeavor.
So
Fantastic. Thank you.
with that, Lena, I think it's back to you.
Okay. Rupam, thank you so much. That was a great presentation and very well done. Very well done. We've had two great presentations this morning. Rupam, of course, was our main speaker today. And then we had Ken Domi from Phillips 66. It's amazing how the chamber, as I mentioned to you guys before we actually started the actual presentations, that only in the Carson chamber will you can see oil and water mixing. But I must say, we are so proud. We at the Carson chamber, we are so proud of our members, our chairman circle members, our sponsors. They all come together for us to be able to put forth something of this nature for not only our members, but for the community. And this is so important. And I must say, I applaud the Carson Chamber. I'm sort of patting ourselves on the back, but like my grandmother used to say, it's a poor dog who don't wag its own tail. We are doing a great job, and I don't care what anybody says. I know we're doing a great job, and I thank you, Rupam, for what you've done, what you've accomplished in your life, and how you chose to come to us and do this. We really appreciate that. So what we normally, we're going to be drawing for the 5-minute speaker, and also I think Amy has a couple of C's cards or something for us to give away as well. So, but before that, Barry, I'll just mention the actual events that we have today. And if you want to chime in on something after I mention them, please do. Later on today, well, I know we have the government affairs, but I don't know how that.
It's at 2 o'clock. And if anybody is interested in joining us for the Government Affairs Committee, just drop me a note and I'll send you the link.
Okay. And then we also have later today from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. we have a ribbon cutting. That's an in-person. So see, a lot of times people, we don't do a lot of in-person, but sometimes if there is something, people want to just get out. So we have an in-person ribbon cutting at Key Lashes over on 129 Savaroni Way here in the city of Carson. They also teach you how to become a lash artist, and they have other classes that they teach as well. So you may want to, if you have time, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then Amy sent out an e-blast, so you can look at that and see exactly all the information there. But it's a Key Lashes, and they're over there on Savaroni Way. That's right off of Main Street. We also have coming up on the 8th of February, Tuesday, February the 8th, we're going to be partnering with Dignity Health Sports Park for a blood drive on Tuesday, February 8th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And listen, guys, we know what dire need we're in for blood now. Did you want to talk about that, Barry?
Well, so we don't have details yet, but we do know the date. And so start saving up.
Yeah.
It's good timing because according to the Red Cross, I am eligible to give blood starting 3 days before that. So I found out I have a rare blood type, and most people don't even know if they have a rare blood type because they never donate and they never get the chance. But after the first time, or actually a few times after I donated, they tested my blood and found out that my blood is special. So who knew? And it's good for people with immune disorders, or especially for premature babies. So they'll call me up and say they need a bag of blood right now. But it's such an easy thing to do, and afterwards you get to eat like a pig. So got to replenish, right? So just think about it. Just consider it. And also, if you would be willing to spread the word through your organization, when the time comes, let us know, and we will make sure you get the information.
Yeah, the Red Cross is actually going to be developing the flyer, and Tamala will get that to Amy, and we'll be e-blasting that soon. But it is a go. It's definitely a go. And then, in fact, the following day, on the 9th, the sheriff department, they're going to have their blood drive also. So you get a chance to give, to have a back-to-back blood drive.
But we can't give twice in 2 days. They don't allow that.
I know, but I'm saying, but we have a back-to-back. It's almost like, a championship back-to-back.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I guess my delivery is not as well as yours, but you are definitely a rare type. And don't forget, we also have the State of the City which will be virtual. And that's on Thursday, February 17th. More information to come. So with that, we can start our drawing let's do the drawing for the next 5-minute speaker. Now, Ken, you've already been the 5-minute speaker, so if we call your name, you can't be the 5-minute speaker, okay? Again.
Okay.
Okay, I'm thinking of a number.
Yes,
You're
a number
ready?
between 1 and 23.
Oh, I love that number 23. I love that number, but that's not the number I'm going to call. I've already chosen my numbers I'm going to call, by the way.
What
But
is
I
it?
love that number. Why do I love the 23?
Give me a number.
Oh, okay. 17.
Okay. 1, 2. That would be Maribel from EXP.
Oh, okay.
Morning.
Good morning. Delighted to have you. I think that would be absolutely grand. So we will have you as our next 5-minute speaker come April.
Sounds good. Would I be able to connect with Alina just for more details?
Oh, yeah, sure. We'll
Yeah.
talk a lot between now and then.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, by then. Yeah, right. Okay. All right, then. So now it's time for the TFJU prize. Yay! What does the TFJU mean?
No
Thanks
idea.
for joining us.
Oh,
Thanks for joining us, prize. And we give two. I think Amy, I believe that's what Amy gave me the permission to do is give out two C's. I think it C's $5 gift cards, I believe. But anything C's is always good. So whoever actually wins these two cards, well, one of these, then you have to either put in the chat box or either email us or call us with your address so we can mail them to you.
or we'll just
Okay.
come visit you.
Okay, then, right. First number 11. Who's that?
Ed Apodaca.
Ed.
Well, we know where Ed is. Okay, that's an easy one.
Yeah, Ed. We
Right
know
here
where
at the
he is.
Doubletree.
So he is the C's candy with the cookies. Okay.
That's right. And our next one?
The next one would be 20.
Shannon Moody.
Oh yeah. Hey, Shannon.
All right.
Okay, so that's all I have to say, and I guess you guys will say, "Thank goodness she stopped talking." So Barry, you want to close out, or Mr. Chair? Thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate that.
I don't have anything else. Just thank you to the Doubletree for hosting us this morning. I really did have a great breakfast. So the bacon was delicious. It's like, it's more like a little slab of ham, but anyway.
Yeah, it is.
So thank you all for joining us. I am going to stop recording.